Hey guys, happy Saturday or Sunday, whichever day I get to get this video out. A special shout out and hello to my subscribers and to my new subscribers. A thank you for hitting that button and welcome to the family, okay? So today's question for you is, have you ever seen a pattern or even a tutorial where it is shown a beautiful pattern that's just knit on flat needles, and you say to yourself, I would love to turn that into a hat and knit that in a round, or put that on a sleeve, or whatever way you can think of with knitting in the round, but you have no idea how to convert from flat knit to circular knit. Well, in this video, we are going to solve that problem. It is super simple, easier than you think. Now, the stitch that I'm going to use as an example is called the broken block pattern, okay? So this is how it looks flat on flat needles, okay? And this is how it looks when I decided I think that that would look pretty cool in a hat pattern. So I just converted that into a round pattern, and this is how it is it looks when I converted it into the round. Okay, again, it is super quick, it is super fast, and you'll be able to use this simple technique, no math needed, nothing complicated like that. You'll be able to convert from the flat pattern over to a round pattern, and you'll be able to take this for whichever pattern that you see that's structured like this. You'll be able to do the conversion. Okay, so I think I've gone on enough. Let's go over to the tutorial table and I'll show you exactly what to do. All right, so let's first go over some basics of some common stitches that we all know, which is the garter and stockinette stitch, okay? So we're just going to go over the principles of how you do those in when you're doing flat knitting and when you're doing them in the round, so we can get the basics of knitting in the round, okay? So for the garter stitch, what you do is when you're doing it flat, you do row 1, you knit on the first row, you turn your work, and on the wrong side, you do another set of knits, okay? So that's how you do your garter stitch. In the stockinette stitch, you're going to knit on your right side row, you're going to turn your work on the wrong side row, and you're going to do purls on your wrong side, okay? But in the knitting in the round, there is no wrong side, so that's the row that you need to change because there is no wrong side row. So you need to do the same, execute the same thing that you've done flat with turning your work, but you're just going to change it up when you're on the second row or the wrong side. So let me explain further. So with garter stitch, you're going to knit your first round, knit all your stitches around. Then on your second row or the wrong side row, what you're going to do, since there is no wrong side, that's where you need to make the change. So instead of continuing to knit as you would do, like if you were doing it flat, what you're going to do is do the opposite. You're going to purl the next row. So you're going to knit one row, then your next row, you're going to purl that row. So you're changing that wrong side row because in knitting, in a round, I should say, there is no wrong side row, okay? So let's talk about that with the stockinette. So with the stockinette, you knit on the right side, you purled on the wrong side. So now if you knit in a round, and I'm sorry I don't have one to show you that's on the needles, but you would knit your first round, and then on your second round, which is technically the wrong side, you're going to do the opposite. You're not going to purl, you're going to do a knit. That's the opposite of the purl. So that's all you're doing when you're converting from flat to round in patterns, you're changing your wrong side rows. So let's look at that further now that we know that basic principle. Now let's look at how you do this broken block pattern here. So I wrote it out here on while you're doing it flat, okay? So when you're doing it flat, this is the layout. So first thing you want to look at when you want to convert from flat to round is, now this technique is only going to work when you have straight multiples like this. When you have multiples of, let's say, 8 stitches, 6 stitches, 4 stitches, nothing with like 8 plus 1, 8 plus 2, that's a different technique, and I'll talk about that in another video. But just for today, we're going to talk about this. And there's plenty of patterns that are written out like this, so you'll have plenty to do even if you don't know how to do like 8 plus 3 or whatever the case may be, okay? So don't be concerned or worried about that. You're going to be entertained with what you know from this basic video, okay? So first, establish that it reads like this, okay? Now, the second thing you need to establish is know where your wrong side rows are. Because again, these are the rows that you're going to have to change if you want to knit in the round, okay? So now we got those two things established. Let's work on how you change the pattern up, all right? So again, I do not want to change all my right side rows. So my right side rows, you do them as it's stated. So all these rows, rows 1, 3, and 5, you're going to keep those as is, okay? Now we get to our wrong side rows. These are the rows that we want to change. Rows 2, 4, and 6, all right? So we're going to go over here and make our change, okay? So all we have to do, it is super simple. We're going to do the opposite of everything that's stated. And you're going to work from right to left. And I'm going to show you what that means, all right? So we're going to put here, we're going to put our asterisks so we know where to start the repeat, all right? We're going to work from right to left, all right? And change the action, okay? So to change this action, we're going to change this to purl 3, okay? That's one action that you need to do. From right to left, our next one is purl 5. We're going to change that to knit 5, okay? And that's all you have to do. It's just that simple. Nothing more complicated than that, okay? And then you can write the rest of this if you want. Repeat from asterisk, okay? So now you know the action to do on rows 2, 4, and 6. If you want to do this in the round, you've now converted it so that you can do those actions for that row, okay? Now rows 7, 9, and 11 are on your right side. So you don't need to do anything with that. So you can just knit along, do whatever you need to do. Now you can come down to your wrong side. All right, we know now this is where we need to change. So all you have to do is change this from right to left, all right? Put your asterisk so you know where the repeat starts. Change this first one to knit 5. That's the opposite of purl 5. And now we just change this one. This says knit 3. We're going to purl 3. Okay? And you can write the rest if you feel like doing that from asterisk, okay? And that's all you need to do. Now, if this were longer, obviously go down to the very end stitch, work from right to left, and make the change. Do the opposite of the action, and you've now converted that into what you need to do for the round. It's just that simple. So there's that. So like I said, guys, it is super, super easy, not complicated at all. When I first started this process, I thought it was, something that I had to do with a whole bunch of math and things like that. But that is not the case. So that's the end of my quick teach. If you found value in that video, please consider liking the video. That really helps the channel. And consider subscribing to the channel if you want more step-by-step tutorials. The next part of this series will be how to chart this so that you can check your work. So if that's something of interest to you, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will know when that video pops up. Thank you guys for watching, and happy knitting to you all.